What's up, everybody? Welcome to Philly with John Marks. What is up, everybody? Good morning to our 8 a.m.ers. That's right. We're live, local, late breaking. We live, we hot every morning at 8 a.m. here on PHLY Philly with John Marks is always brought to you by GLAT Hair Restoration. Which actually is not actually brought to you by GLAT Hair Restoration. It's Bed Parks and Central City Toyota. Oh, we're off to a roaring start this morning, which is a good thing. I'm in a good mood. We actually have more things to talk about than we have time. So second block, Phillies conversation. Violations, Greg is going to slide in. We have a number of things to speak with him, including the Phillies. That's block B. Block A in a second. And just remember, subscribe, like. When you watch live every morning, get involved in the chat. We have a community of live chatters. We appreciate y'all. K-Red and Michael Haynes up early this morning with us. But also, if you're watching later in the day, right, you can watch whenever on YouTube. Just make sure you're liking and subscribing, but also comment on the episode with what we're talking about, right? Like, we have opinions on what we're talking about. If we're missing something, you want to bust our balls, just comment, all right? Like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. So good morning to everybody. We're live on a Thursday morning as the news came down yesterday, and I had literally zero reaction to it, which is Joel Embiid will undergo arthroscopic surgery on his left knee. A team official tells ESPN, I'm reading from Shams because it doesn't happen unless Shams says it. Embiid was ruled out for the season in late February, and as he and the 76ers met with doctors to determine the best treatment to alleviate his knee issues. I honestly wasn't even going to talk about it. Of all the things that I had, and we have so much stuff to talk about, I don't think I was going to talk about it. I forgot about it. And Tyler came in and was like, Embiid, like injury out for the season, what happens next or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, that's right, Embiid. And honestly, I just don't know what to say anymore other than, yeah, he's never going to be healthy. I play my TikTok reel or play my Instagram reel from before the season started. Joel Embiid's never going to be healthy. Can he be healthy enough to where his knees can be okay and he can play enough and they can bring in somebody else and they can win a championship? Oh, well, bleep. They signed Paul George. It's over. Embiid, great player. A great player in the franchise's history, an unbelievable talent. Just let's end this, please. Let's end it. By the way, good luck ending it. He's owed a ton of money, and he has bad knees, and he's 7'2". And there's a lot of other things that go on with Joel Embiid, including it's not a big man's game anymore. So pardon me for just wanting to kind of put my head in a hole and just fill it up. So I'm going to dig a hole, let me put my head in it, and I want you to insert the soil in the hole when it comes to the 76ers, because I just want nothing else to do with it. Why did they wait so long? Is this Embiid? Because the Sixers were trying to get him to play through it. None of it makes sense. And I'm at a point where I don't care anymore. I don't want to be negative with the 76ers. I don't want to look at Daryl Morey's face. I don't want to think about Joshua Harris. I don't want to envision what they're going to try to do next year, which is run it back with hopefully a top 6 pick. That'd be great if the Sixers were able to hold on to their pick. And at that point you would say, all right, like we have another young player. This looks good, but we're talking about 40 years. One NBA appearance, finals appearance in 41 years, win in 83, lose in 2001, and haven't been to a conference final other than that. Like that's a long time, man. And I know they play in the same season as the Flyers. That's been even longer. But at least they've been to the freaking Cup a number of times. They just haven't won it. Or a couple times. They just haven't won it. So I don't know what else to say about Joel Embiid. And Tyler Zulli, I'll bring you in now so you can say it. I don't know what to say because I just you're stuck. You're stuck, and it's a negative story, and I'm tired of it. I'm tired of hearing about it. I'm tired of talking about it. Good morning.
Yeah, I mean, good morning to you as well. This is an unfortunate end to what probably could have been a very promising, run for this team. And I guess it kind of was, right? Like they dug themselves out of the hole that was the process, and they had a couple of fine regular seasons, and they were fun for a while. But it's an unfortunate end to not culminate in anything. Like winning a championship is really, really hard. And to not get there really sucks, considering the fact that we went through those really lean years to get to this point. They are going to run it back next year. I don't think they really have any options, right? They're pretty cash tight. They don't have a lot of trade value, and unless you find a suitor for a Paul George, for example, you're going to run it back. And you're, like you just brought up, right? It's going to be Paul George and Joel Embiid coming off of an injury year for Joel Embiid, an injury year for Paul George, and a year that was kind of a down year for him, paired with Tyrese Maxey, who's been excellent or was excellent, before he was shut down, and Jared McCain coming off an injury, and hopefully a number 5 or number 6 pick. But I just keep having this I have this gross feeling in my brain that the Sixers somehow are going to get the bad luck draw, and they're going to finish with a top 5 or 6 record or bottom 5 or 6 record,
and not get
and it's gonna the ping pong balls are not going to fall their way.
Yeah,
and OKC is going to end up with the 7th or 8th overall pick.
Yeah. Well, listen, I apologize, as I'm you can tell how much I care about it. I'm trying to put my phone on Twitter Live and position it so it gets me, because I put it down on the table there, and it was a shot of my groin, which was not a good shot. Kim has something interesting on Embiid. Isn't this more of an exploratory type surgery? And Kim, you know what? See, that's the thing. I don't know what the hell's going on. I really don't, because the Sixers were trying to get him to play through it, right? And then Embiid, I mean, it was fairly obvious he wasn't healthy, but what is this? You had put something up from Kyle before. Yeah, Kyle knew about a couple weeks ago.
This was an article that Kyle wrote back in late February, and it was kind of the feeling out process of what they were going to do. And I'm not going to read the whole thing. It's 4 bars, but basically what it was the options were there for Joel Embiid to, maybe either get surgery or don't play, or can he, this was remember the conversation of if he plays, he'll build up, muscle and scar tissue around the area, and he's going to have issues, but he's going to get helped eventually, and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And effectively what that was trying to mitigate not having to get surgery and mitigate the risks of any more potential injury. And, he brings up the wide range of options that say, quote, to get reps. And it just never felt right to me that you were going to just go and play on this and hope it got better.
And it was going to be fine. Yeah,
right.
At the very beginning of the season, I said, oh, so you think that by having him not play back-to-backs and more load management, he's going to be fine. That is how it works. It's not how it works. It's not. So now we're going to have this. Going to have the surgery. Is he going to be okay? What do they add to it or whatever? I am just so, I'm not even disgusted, because he's injured. And this isn't where, you pull your hamstring and it's like, oh, well, he's injury prone. The guy's got bad knees. So and Jamal Johnson says he's not giving up on Embiid, and God bless you, brother. I'm over it. I am over it. He is never going to be healthy enough for this team to win a championship. Seems like winning a championship, everybody. So we can keep doing this. We can do this again next year, because Daryl Morey's pot committed. Like you said, what else are they going to do? Tear it down? When they tear it down, Morey's gone. So do they whack Morey in the offseason? Does he get another year to do it? Probably.
He got a pretty sizable contract extension not too long ago. So I don't think they're going to want to pay 2 GMs. A
lot of people will say they're not going to spend $30 million a year for 2 GMs if they fire Daryl Morey. But whatever. Yeah. So Embiid, who knows? He has knee surgery. Awesome. This is great. This portion of the show brought to you by GLAT Hair Restoration. GLATHairMM.com. 610-980-4000. You can see my hair, and it's on Twitter Live. Look at that, man. It's getting a little bit longer, looking good. GLATHairMM.com. All right, so Violations Greg's going to join us in about 10 or 15 minutes here, and we have a number of things to talk about with him, including the Phils, because they get a big win yesterday. Zack Wheeler was mowing them down. That's coming up in Block B. So, something that Nick Sirianni had said yesterday, and they're at the owners' meetings down in Florida. And Dallas Goedert is an obvious discussion right now with the Eagles and with Philadelphia Eagles fans. I remember Elliott was saying this for a while, and looking back on it now, it seems like an informed opinion by Elliott, who's also he's kind of looking ahead and being like, all right, Dallas Goedert has no guaranteed money left on his contract. It's the final year of his deal, and he's $15 million, right? He played 10 games last year. The Eagles are paying out big money to a lot of players. They ain't paying Dallas Goedert $15 million on a final year of a contract when it's not guaranteed. They're just not going to do it. And they're not going to do it. So what are they going to do with Dallas Goedert? So here is Nick Sirianni. Listen to that. Do you have the question in it as well, Tyler? Because he's flat out asked, like, do you want Dallas Goedert back? Here's Nick Sirianni yesterday down at the owners' meetings.
Right now, he's on our football team, and obviously Dallas Goedert has meant a lot to us. We'll see how that plays out. He's a heck of a football player, heck of a leader, and I want to be able to have back as many guys as you possibly can. But that is not the reality of the NFL. We got a lot of so we'll see what happens and how that happens, but. Of course, you want everyone back. We won a Super Bowl last year, and and everybody, like I said, everybody was responsible for that.
Yep. And Dallas Goedert was a monster in the playoffs. He played 10 games. He's injury prone. He's 30 years old. He's entering the final year of his contract. In the offseason, the Eagles signed 2 veteran tight ends. And when I say veteran, guys that have been in the league for 4 or 5 years, 2 former 4th-round draft picks, Kylan Granson, who's known as a blocking tight end, and Harrison Bryant, who, if you look at his stats, he actually showed a little bit of promise earlier in his career, but he's went down kind of downhill each year. He signed with the Raiders. So here's what I think happens with Dallas Goedert. I think right now they're very much in a situation a lot like Josh Sweat last year. Josh Sweat was in a very similar situation. Didn't have guaranteed money left on his contract, was entering the final year of his contract, and the Eagles said, hey, we're not paying you this. You can go out, you can talk about a trade and come back to us and we'll see what happens, right? So Josh Sweat came back. He didn't have a big market out there. So he said, hey, let me take a reduced, I'm more or less taking a pay cut to come back for one more year, final year of a contract, and then I can be a free agent. He had a good year. The Eagles won the Super Bowl, and he parlayed that. It's better than our parlays, Tyler Zulli. That's for sure.
You're not kidding, man. Ours have been dreadful lately.
But he got a big payday, and it worked out well for him. 8 sacks with the Eagles mean a lot more than 8 sacks with the Jags or with a team that sucks, right? So Dallas Goedert and his agent right now are probably out shopping themselves around the NFL. And probably what they're finding is a lot of teams would like to have Dallas Goedert, but not for $15 million a year. And right now, probably more for what he could get from the Eagles on a 1-year deal. So I think Goddard, the only chance he comes back is if teams really aren't interested in him and he comes back on a 1-year, let's say, I don't know, $7 or $8 million for 1 year. Because the Eagles honestly aren't ready to exit Dallas Goedert being their tight end unless they have eyes for a tight end in the draft, which they probably do. Or if they don't draft a guy and Dallas Goedert says, no, I'm leaving, then they're going to sell us, Harrison Bryant, Kylan Granson, still with Cal Katera, right? And like we already have A.J. Brown. We already have Saquon Barkley. We already have Devontae Smith. Do you really need to pay that much to a tight end? So I think it could go either way. But Tyler, tell me if you agree with this, that probably a better chance, just based on what Howie and how Nick Sirianni are answering the question, better chance he's not with the team than if he's with the team. Yeah,
that felt like a pretty non-committal answer from Nick Sirianni. And I think because to me, any coach is going to get put in that kind of situation, is going to kind of say what he said about, we love him. We want to have him, have him back. He's a big part of our club.
Sure.
Understanding the monetary situation about it. I do think, though, that he maybe could have just said, we'd love to have him back. You know what I mean? So maybe I'm speculating. Maybe I'm posturing a little bit.
To your point, he could have said, I would love to have Dallas Goedert back, but in the NFL, we need them. Like teams need to make tough decisions all the time, and I'm hopeful he comes back, but we'll see. That's not what he said.
And so I think we've all kind of seen this writing on the wall for Dallas Goedert, especially like you brought up with the fact that the money is what it is. I am kind of surprised because the Eagles kind of have a trend with tight ends as of late. When they went from Brent Selleck to Zach Ertz, when they went from Zach Ertz to Dallas Goedert, It was draft the replacement a year or 2 years before you need the replacement. And he's ready. They've not done that to this point. And so I wonder, one of two things are going to happen. Either Dallas Goedert is back for one final year, and they use a fairly sizable draft compensation to draft a tight end, or they're going to do something that maybe we don't expect in the draft and move up to go get a tight end.
Or in the trade market for a player that is available out there.
Who I think, because if you're not going to have Dallas Goedert on your roster, which from a football standpoint makes your team worse, right? When Dallas Goedert plays, he's a very, very good player. When he plays, he makes this team better. So if he's not on your roster, you're definitively worse offensively at that position specifically.
And running the football, too. He's a monster.
He's become a very, very good blocker over the years. And so I wonder if they've got something in the works, or maybe they've got it closer to the trade, or to the draft, that they do make a trade, because I don't see a scenario in which they just go, all right, buddy, see you, thanks for everything, and not have something waiting in the wings.
We'll see. We'll see. I'm reading from Dave Zungaro here, and also Zach had a great breakdown. Zach Berman on allphly.com had a great breakdown as well. But I'm reading from Dave Zungaro on NBC Sports Philly. It says Goddard's owed $15 million. His cap hit is just over 11.8. With this current deal, if he gets traded before June 1st, his cap hit would balloon to over $21 million in dead money. If he gets traded after June 1st, the Eagles would actually save $4 million in cap space. It's so weird with this June 1 thing, how you wait and then you can save instead of owing, right? And he goes on to say, if nothing else, testing the trade market with Goddard should give both sides a better understanding of his value to the rest of the league, which is, I think, the most important point of all. All else being equal, I'm sure he wants to come back. Well, all right, all else being equal, he wants a big contract. Outside of that, he wants to come back to the Eagles. So just like with Hendrickson in Cincinnati, he found out what his market was, and now there's hurt feelings because of the way the team handled it. But like, there weren't teams that are like, hey, we want to give you $40 million a year. Hassan Reddick didn't have a market out there that he wanted. So what happened? He got traded to the Jets, and the Jets are like, well, we're not paying you $30 million a year. What are you talking about, right? So Dallas Goedert will find out, based on this process right here, how much he's worth, and if it's worth him going to a new team, or if the Eagles are going to bring him back. Because the Eagles are trying to get a draft pick for him. Other teams can just say, well, actually, you pay him $15 million then.
Yeah, we're not going to give up draft compensation if we don't have to. And so you bring up the conversation of, can this be a Josh Sweat situation where it is a return on a different deal and a restructured deal? The difference is, I think, in this scenario, edge rushers get paid. Edge rushers always get paid because there's not enough good edge rushers in the NFL for teams that need 2 or 3 of them, and every team needs 2 or 3 of them. Tight end's different, especially a tight end who's on, heading towards 30, who's 30 heading into 31 by the time his contract is up. I think the market will be there. He's still going to be a good player, but I'm not sure it's going to be there in the capacity that he hopes it's there. And so I do wonder if he kind of monetarily views this as, if I play well this year, what's my market value? And I don't know if it's going to be there the same way that it could be in a situation if he were an edge rusher like Josh Sweat's situation last offseason, or this offseason last season.
Yeah, I think he's gone. And
you know what the thing is? I think he is back I think he's got one more year. Maybe I don't think. I get this I get this inkling that maybe he does come back for one more year, because as you said, I'm not sure if teams value that $14-15 million, and like you said, Eagles, just go ahead and go pay him. If we'll give you a 6, and they go, no, that's not nearly enough, and they say we want a 3, and then
they're not
go,
getting that.
That ain't happening.
You would have to have multiple. You would have to have multiple teams that are interested,
right?
And then it would kind of be like, all right, well, listen, I got a 4 on the table. If you give me your 4 because it's better, we'll do it. All right, coming up, we have Violations Greg. He was at the Phillies game last night. We'll talk about the Phillies win as Zack Wheeler mowed him down. Also, there's a pizza order that Violations Greg had put out there that is outrageous. Also, the mayor of Upper Darby apparently is a Cowboys fan, and he was totally called out at a meeting. And there's some personal issues that I have going on with me that we'll talk about with Violations Greg. That's coming up next. Philly with John Marks. Don't go anywhere. 2-2. Back in 2-2. All right, listen. True Mark Financial. All right, I'm a customer. Love True Mark Financial. My home branch is it's the Trooper Road in Audubon location, but I've hit them all up, and from the minute you walk in the door, you know what you're dealing with. very friendly. It's a family. It is. It's a family. It doesn't feel like a cookie cutter institution that you're walking into, and for good reason. TrueMark Financial, they listen. They know what your goals are. They want to know what your goals are. You're not going up to a teller. You're sitting down at a desk. How can I help you today? What do you need? Mary Ellen at the Trooper Road, Donna at the Trooper Road location that I go to. I opened up my business checking account up there. It's all about your goals, right? So check this out. It's springtime, and you know what that means? Springing into savings. See what I did there? So financial goals. Like I know my kids, and my wife, if I have to hear about going to Disney any longer, you're going to see my head explode, right? So if you want to take that vacation, you want to build an emergency fund, maybe buy a house, right? Like TrueMark Financial Credit Union has the perfect savings account for you. They're offering high-rate certificates and money market accounts to help your money grow faster and work harder for you. Don't leave it in a standard savings account where you're just making them money, right? Make some money for yourself. Visit TrueMark.com for rates and to learn more. Federally insured by the NCUA. Rates are subject to change. Hoo-ah. All right. I'm excited. You know what I'm excited for? Empire Today. And I'm excited for Black Gritty from blackgritty.com. Because I unfortunately, I wasn't talking to Empire Today when I got new floors and new carpeting. I can tell you how miserable the experience can be, or how it was for me. But listen, empiretoday.com, all right? If you need flooring, how about dedicated flooring professionals who focus on flooring every single day? So you're not going to the big box store. You're like, I could save a little bit of money. Let me go to big box store A or big box store B. Now you have to find somebody to install the flooring. Good luck with that. Or you go to the flooring store and you say like, all right, I like this. Send out your guy to me or whatever. And how about this? EmpireToday.com. They come to your home. They take precise measurements. And if it's available, which often it is, they can start the job the next day. All right. You pick the right flooring. You pick the right colors for your space. You see how it looks with your furniture in your house. Boom. Clear upfront and all-inclusive pricing. Plus, again, installation can be scheduled as soon as the next day. And I mentioned Black Gritty because he's got the new dogs, the new puppies, and he's got carpeting. And I was actually talking to him about it yesterday. He goes, yeah, I need to get, like, what do you have? You have hardwoods. Maybe he needs vinyl. Maybe he needs something in between, something where you know you're going to get the dog peeing on it all the time and scratching it up, right? Empire Today. And right now you can schedule a free in-home estimate because things are just better at home. Don't waste your time. Have them come to you. And if you use code PHLY, how about a $350 discount? But again, Empire Today/PHLY for all details and the promo code PHLY. Check it out. Empire Today. Hoo-ah. We're back. Hoo-ah. As joining us right now, live in studio. He wasn't hanging out with Fit Dad CEO, but I saw Fit Dad CEO with my buddy Nick McElwain last night down at the Phillies game. But Violations Greg joins us.
Johnny Mox.
Nice warm game last night.
Oh, dude. Brutal. Miserable.
So when you get tickets,
Good win, though.
hey man, I can watch Zack Wheeler pitch 7 days a week. Mm-hmm. He's awesome. 10 strikeouts, no walks, gave up the 1 home run.
Yeah.
Mowed him down. The Phillies, when they play these bad to mediocre teams with their starting pitching, are going to crush them. They'll win 90 games just by beating these crappy to mediocre teams, VJ.
Yeah, as long as they got crappy bullpens. They're just smashing crappy bullpens. It's like as soon as the bullpen opens, it's like runs are coming.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, listen, so far, so great. They're because if they start 2-3, they're 4-1. They start 2-3, people are pissed. People, I told you, this team sucks.
It's just
or whatever.
what this town needed, and that's in the Rockies.
Right. Yeah, it's a good start.
Yeah.
So when the Dodgers come into town this weekend and
they're hot
and they get swept or they're
hot.
So they're 8-0, the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Padres are 7-0. Mm-hmm. Braves are 0-7. The Braves had an early lead last night. They were up in the second inning by a couple runs, and I say there was lots of time to lose this one. They lost it. Ohtani had a walk-off last night.
Saw it. I I've been wise enough to watch the games the last 2 nights and bet Dodgers live. It's the rare times you're going to be able to get Dodgers plus money. Last night, I think they were plus 115 when I bet them. They were down 5-3 in the 5th or the 4th. So, yeah, I bet Dodgers.
They were down early. That's a good
move. I bet them the
move.
night before. Well, hit.
All right, well, you're going to be betting them this weekend, though. You bet against the Phillies?
Nah, I never bet. I don't even play fantasy players on my team who are playing the Phillies. I got screwed on opening day because I got Mackenzie Gore. I did not play him because he's playing the Phillies. So, yeah.
Right.
I
Well,
don't
that's
bet against
silly.
them.
That's silly.
Smart, man. I'm a Philadelphian.
Well, I am too, but you can, Tyler, I'm sure you would agree with me.
I like money. I like money, and if money is on the line in a fantasy league,
My
I'm
team's good enough
taking
to
the money.
I can work with it. Hey, did you hear the Mickey Moniak at bat?
Here's the now batting for the Rockies, center fielder Mickey Moniak. And I heard violations Greg screaming in the background.
Booze.
Yeah, you're
what are you
booing
booing
him.
the poor kid for?
There's
not
no
his fault he
reason.
stinks. It's not his fault they picked him number 1.
It's
what do you
not
want
his
him
fault.
to do? That draft stunk.
No,
There's not a player on that. All right, AJ Puck. Tyler would know better than I.
No, it was a
So-
terrible
Is he
draft.
the best player.
Listen,
Like
Nick Senzel was in that draft.
You're playing hindsight is 2020, of course. Nick Senzel and Puck and Cal Quantrill have been major league players. I wanted AJ Puck.
Okay.
Coming out of Florida, that's who I wanted in that draft. I was not as high on Senzel as others, but like I've also always been a guy like I will take college players over high school players just because I think there's a vet. Now maybe it's a little bit
Well,
different
look
now
at
with
Aaron
NIL.
Nola. They went with a guy that was ready to pitch.
They
and it's
become
been a hell of a
close,
draft pick.
right? They become closer to major league ready. I think, especially if you get guys from the Tennessees, the Floridas, the Vanderbilts, the Texas A&M's type of like the real preeminent programs. You know, I think they're so close to like Kumar Rocker is in the bigs already. Jack Leiter's in the bigs already. Like they're so close to being ready when they play at these big time programs. That's what I understand. They cost
It
more
was
money.
listen. It was a terrible
It was
draft
a
pick.
bad
the
draft.
number
It was a
1 pick.
bad draft.
It was a terrible draft pick. Like, who cares at this point? I'm not going to boo Mickey Moniak, but we're in Philadelphia. Violations, Greg. So you had to like it at the same
I
time.
got a crew behind me because I have a partial plan of tickets. There's a family behind me, and they got daughters who are like 7 and 5, and they are
so like
brutal.
my kids.
And as soon as Moniak was named, the little girls just like, bah!
Oh my god,
Dude, they're the best. Like they hate Jeff McNeil. I have no like last year. I was like, you just heard this little girl go, McNeil, you're a piece of garbage, and you're like, what? It's a 7-year-old girl.
Meanwhile, my kids are like, "Yay, Phillies!" Like, who's your favorite
Right.
Philly?
Yeah.
My 3-year-old says Nick Castellanos because she can say Nick Castellanos, and Herb from Northeast Philly can't say, and she's 3. But yeah, so like they're like, "Yay!" Like, so I'll be like, "What jerseys do you want to get, girls?" I want Kyle Schwarber. I want Bryce Harper.
No, Harper's a good one. Schwarber, wait till the extension comes through.
He's getting an extension.
He
He's
has
not
to,
leaving,
yeah.
dude. He is not leaving.
Yes.
He's
Hey,
not
we
leaving.
talked about earlier, me and Anthony this week. It's a big weekend with Sasaki is pitching. What day?
All right, so here's the probables. Yamamoto, Luzardo Friday night.
Good.
Sasaki, Nola Saturday, and then Glass now, Chris Sanchez Sunday. Hooah!
So have you been following the Sasaki story?
Yes.
He's not having fun.
No, and he has
He
no.
cried.
No,
he
is
cried in Los Angeles in the site when he got pulled. So
Well, so Morimoto had a
this is set up for us to give him a meltdown here.
Yamamoto had a slow start last year too, I believe, and then he pulled it together. He looked good.
Yeah. I don't remember him weeping.
Well, I don't,
Yeah.
dude. The whole.
So the crowd's got to be ready to jump on Sasaki early.
By the way, the Phillies have trouble. Like they're trying to get a Japanese player to come over and play. Like I don't know if getting a Japanese pitcher that's crying in Los Angeles that would be a good idea to bring him to Philadelphia.
Definitely not.
PG.
So I'm looking forward. I may grab tickets for Saturday's game. Go down there.
Weather's supposed to be nice, right? Is it?
I don't know. I don't look at those things, Johnny.
Well, I do.
Just grab games.
Because I don't want to be miserable and cold and wet like you. So, all right, we have a number of things to get here.
All right.
Get to here with you. All right, so you went to, is this from opening day, your pizza order?
Oh, opening day night. Yes. I was.
Opening night, so Monday night.
Oh, no. Yeah, you're right. It's opening day, but nighttime. I did some activities after the game. Yes. So hung out a little bit, took some herbalness.
Well, I was going to say it would
ordered
appear
a late night pizza.
it would appear to me. So this was after the game.
Oh, this was like midnight.
Okay, so this is violations, Greg. This is his pizza that you ordered after the Phillies game, and apparently there was some green that was involved in this. All right, so you went traditional.
That just means like a regular pie.
Right, like I did the same thing with Domino's. Is what I
yeah.
I do the same thing with Domino's, and I know that you probably eat Domino's all the time. You and Anthony.
Well, I eat a little more than Anthony. For sure.
Anti-chain people. All right, so go over it. Classic tomato sauce, check.
Yep.
Romano, so I gotta pull.
Parm Romano sauce. Sure, why not add a little sauce with some Parmesan Romano cheese in it?
Sounds good to me, man.
Yeah.
All right, so then we work our way down. When did
Garlic butter drizzle.
Okay.
A little basil.
Okay, sounds good so far.
Fresh mozzarella.
Okay.
Grilled onion.
All right.
Pineapple.
Oh, pineapple.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to put
pepper.
if you want to put pineapple on a pizza, like I don't care, that's fine. But with all this other stuff, all right. So banana pepper.
Yeah, you got to get a little heat with the pineapple, with the sweetness of the pineapple.
A banana pepper and a pineapple does not go together. All right, what's
think
next?
So.
Buffalo drizzle.
Yeah, a little more heat. A little saltiness with the olives.
Tyler, banana peppers and hot sauce do not go together.
See, VG, you're right. You would get a little sweet heat, right? I like that.
Yeah.
But not in this particular scenario.
You guys are nuts.
Kalamata olives.
Yeah, you get a little salt with it.
And ranch drizzle.
Yeah, a little more drizzle.
And this was edibles that made you feel like this? Because I can defend you in this. That I think we've all been where we've maybe been in this type of atmosphere where you're like, all right, man,
I've been going since noon.
This sounds really good.
Yep.
I'm gonna put some ranch on top of the calamari olives too.
That's exactly the voice that was in my head as I was selecting all these options.
And then you get it, and what does it taste like?
Oh, it was fantastic. It was everything I had hoped for. One bite in, all those flavors bursting out.
So what size pizza do you get?
That was a small.
And so it's like a personal one. You put the whole thing down?
Yeah.
If you were sitting down for dinner, just straight up dinner, and a large pizza is delivered, how many slices are you eating for dinner?
I'm a 2.5
Two?
kind of guy. Yeah. I'm not a big eater. Is that a
Two?
lot? Two?
Are you having a different dinner before two? No, it's what my kid eats. It's
Is
two
that
slices.
is that your appetizer?
Well, I mean, it depends on what size. What size?
Are you having wings with it?
I usually get a salad with my pizza.
Okay,
a little salad.
but no salad. How many slices of pizza do you need?
I'm usually
for
good on
dinner?
an average size pizza. I'm good with 2 slices.
Oh man,
What's going on? Is that weird?
yeah.
It's just low. Like
Five.
I'm eating 4.
Five?
I'm eating 4 or 5.
Four or five.
Slices?
Yes.
Wait a minute. So if how many pizzas do you order for your family on pizza night? You got to get 2 pizzas?
We get a Domino's, and then we get
Everybody gets a personal large pizza.
and we get from wherever we get
Are
from.
you
up
at
in my
Domino's?
place.
Because they have really good, I hear, gluten-free crust.
My daughter likes it.
They just like Domino's.
My one daughter likes it, so I have to actually make 2 stops.
She's a tyrant. She just dictates the whole.
Correct.
family.
So I have to time it where I'm leaving the one pizzeria and I'm put the order in on the app, and by the time I arrive at the Domino's, they're like, hey, what's going on, John? And then they'll like take it out of the oven and hand it to me, and I go. It's
All right,
like
so
it's
you
like
get
well-oiled machine.
2 different pizzas. All right.
VG,
And I like the Domino's. It's good.
Your producer checks in. Andrew says 2 is definitely not enough. 5 slices.
He's
4, and I'm diabetic. I shouldn't eat pizza like
He's a
this.
scavenger. He'll eat anything.
All I'm saying is that 3 slices ain't enough. It's my dinner. 4 is ideal.
4 slices
And
of
if I'm-
pizza.
Like right now, I can
That's
eat 5
got to
slices
be
of pizza.
double your daily allowance of saturated fat with that cheese. 4
Yeah.
slices?
If I'm eating pizza, I'm not thinking about that.
That's the last thing I'm thinking of. By the way, I haven't eaten pizza since I started my most recent exercise trend.
What's this?
Well, it's just I'm working out, so I'm not going to eat pizza for 3 months. So it's been about a month that haven't eaten pizza.
All right, what are you eating?
Not pizza. Wings,
food?
salads.
But you eat pizza's much better than wings. Wings are fried food.
Agreed, but it's bad on my blood sugar.
Oh, I got you.
Like, so this is more blood sugar thing for me than saturated fat and cholesterol. I'm already on cholesterol medication, which will be part of our last thing that we talk
All right,
about
let's
here.
go.
But so did you see this? So this is I found this. Somebody had tweeted it out, and then Crossing Broad picked it up. So apparently, the mayor of Upper Darby is a Cowboys fan.
I saw this one. I didn't click on the article. Yeah.
So we have the video.
Sweet.
So I guess they have like this meeting where it's like, open to the public and they air grievances or they like say what they want to say. And this is what happened. This is in Upper Darby Township.
Residents of Upper Darby Township, when you elect a Cowboys fan to your government, 29 years of losing with this team, what do you expect with the leadership? This is a Cowboys fan. This guy follows the Cowboys. You see what type of leadership they have, and that's what you put your trust in. Cowboys fan.
I mean, they're not right. It's bad judgment.
It's elite.
It's
Meanwhile, it's an elite way to call somebody out for being a Cowboy fan. So apparently, it's Mayor Ed Brown. If this is the guy he's talking about, when you look at and this is on the Upper Darby website, he's like a very, very good guy who does a lot of charitable things, and this is a part-time job. He has a real job. Like he's well established. He's very successful, and this is a part-time job that he has. He does lots of volunteering, police athletic league commissioner, coach,
All right.
Drexel Hill Little League, Boy Scout troop leader.
Okay.
But he's a Cowboy fan.
That's a major. That's a
and that
fatal
takes
flaw.
precedent. That takes precedent over for Eagles fans. That
sign
takes
of terrible
precedent.
judgment and character. I would agree. I love those town hall meetings where people just go up there and say random stuff. But you don't think that's a qualification? The guy's not wrong.
I think it's totally allowable.
Yeah.
And justifiable.
Does the guy wear Cowboys? How's he know this? Is it
So
Cowboys gear on his site?
It must be well known regardless, Tyler had asked me this. Tyler's like, well, why do you think he did it? And did he do something to piss him off? And so he said, like, you know what, I can get back at him.
Yeah.
I can call him out as a Cowboy fan.
They don't know what that
and it'll
meeting
go
was
viral.
about. There wasn't.
There's no
an issue
context.
that was
Believe me,
Oh.
I did an extensive 90-second
right.
process this morning where I looked for more information, investigation. All right, finally, you're an older gentleman. Violations, Greg.
Yeah.
I'm getting older. I have a problem getting through a show without having to go to the bathroom.
Well, that's part of your thing, right? Too the
What?
blood sugar stuff.
Well, it's not because of blood sugar. I went to the doctor for it. It's because of this is what happens to men as they get older, right? Like you have, I have a problem with my pelvic floor.
Oh, really? Is that a thing? We have pelvic floors.
We have
men?
pelvic floors.
What's it do?
So I have started looking into Kegel exercises, and it's not really to do
You
with
can't do Kegel. There are no Kegel exercises for guys, are there?
Tyler. So just so
the
you
hell
know,
outta here.
According to this video, there
this
are.
is what I was, and I didn't pick this video to do the exercises. I found another one.
Are you doing them online? Are you doing them during the show?
No, I'm doing it at night before I
gotta
go
do
to
it during
bed.
the show.
Just put it up there. So this is
So you're
what.
thinking of channeling mental energy down in between your legs to try to recruit
Mal.
and
Why is this
strengthen
guy-
and pull those muscles up and in. So with this, it's also important to incorporate our breath with it as well.
Right.
So
It's
you're going to
important.
take a big breath in, try to expand through the belly, and then on the exhale, you're going to think about squeezing and pulling the pelvic floor muscles all the way up and in.
Here it comes.
Trying to draw the penis up, lift the testicles up off the floor, tighten the sphincter. Inhale, let all that tension go. Good. Exhale, try to squeeze, pull
All right,
the
that's
pelvic
enough.
floor.
I think this guy just likes saying those words.
I don't know why he needs his shirt off to do these
Wait,
exercises.
that's for real. Who is that guy? That could be just some lunatic. We do not have Kegels.
No, he's got
we
hundreds
really
of
have
thousands
Kegels?
of.
We
Yes,
can do
I'm really doing this.
You
Bro,
are.
so like last night I slept from
my goodness.
11:30 to 4:30. That's why I was up twice to
Wait,
pee.
doesn't caffeine make you go to the bed, make you urinate?
But I'm not drinking a ton of coffee. And I know people say, well, you drink the energy drinks or
Yeah.
whatever. Like, that's not it. I cannot drink anything from 7 o'clock on, and I'm waking up twice during the 5-hour period to go to the bathroom. No, you need to do this. Everything that I read is this really, really helps
No,
with it.
you're-
And it helps with your sexual stuff.
You're on the wrong path, my friend. As a man who lives by the herbs, there are herbs out there that can help you.
Well, help me.
Saw palmetto, fantastic for prostate health and
What is
all
this,
that
an
stuff.
AM radio station on
No,
Saturday
dude.
morning? What do you-
I'm on a bunch of adaptogens, including ashwagandha. It's a whole collection for the male support system.
100%
Yeah,
down
you
with
don't
that.
need to be hanging out with those guys early in the morning talking about lifting your things off the floor and stuff. Come on, dude.
So listen, next week when we talk, I'll give you an update. Because they say
I'm going to give you a list of herbs to take. I'll see you in 6 weeks, but yeah, I want to see you a week. You do
no.
this dressed like that guy, just
If
in your
you-
shorty shorts?
I do not have short shorts like that. If you look at the comments, everybody says, no, this was really, really effective. After about a week, you start to feel the difference. So I was searching around for the exercise that was right for me. That wasn't right for me. Those guys weren't right for me. I found one.
Yeah. Well, you going to show it to us or no?
That will have to be for next week. We'll have to.
Dr. VG, can you write a script for John? 6 weeks of
salt,
herbal
I'll get him a
supplements.
combination of herbs.
But no, you really do. Like what he was saying about lifting the testicles off the floor. Like this is a lot of it's mental, but really like that's what you're trying to do when you're in those the Kegel exercises.
Like you're not lifting your tailbone. You're just trying to lift.
You're trying to lift your
testicles.
sphincter and your testicles
You're tightening,
and,
he said
and your
tighten
penis.
your sphincter.
Yes,
and
correct.
lift the testicles.
Correct.
But your
if you watch the videos,
your tailbone stuff stays on the floor. Just that section's supposed to pop up,
and your lower back too as well. You're not raising your back. You're breathing and you're doing.
It's just those things are popping up.
Lifting the testicles off the floor.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Coming up, Fran Duffy. Thank you very much.
Oh
VG.
my God, Fran's following that.
Can you believe that? Maybe I did a wrong design of the show.
Man.
No, but
Ask
seriously,
Fran if he's ever lifted them off the floor.
Fran, I don't know if he would do well with me questioning him about you.
No, of
I knew
course
this
not,
would be
he
a good
wouldn't.
question.
He's
for
a
you.
respectable football guy. Of course he would not.
He sure is, and it'll get us back to the proper discussion of the Eagles. What's going on with Dallas Goedert? Who does he like in the draft as far as tight end? And also, oh man, it's out. The PHLY Eagles 100. Top 100 prospects specifically for the Eagles, VG.
It's unbelievable. There's nothing like it in the city. It's totally worth the $3 a month, the diehard sales going on or whatever. It's totally Fran Duffy. His workload and what he does here is just.
Well, he does it for all the network, all of our
crazy.
network. Yep. All right, Fran's coming up next. Don't go anywhere. Philly with John Marks. We're back right after this in 2 and 2. Thank you, Violations, Greg. Greg was talking about, and we have our parlay of the day coming up here in a second as well, and we're late, but. Yeah, so the games are coming up this weekend. The tourney. You got some baseball action, the NBA. It's actually a really good time to get over to the BetParx app. The only app I would ever recommend. So you got your sports, you got your pro teams, you got your college teams, you got the tournament coming up this weekend. But how about hot online games, all right? And I'm not talking about some fugazi thing here. You're talking about live dealer blackjack. Live dealer roulette, live dealer poker, state-of-the-art online slots. I mean, Tyler doesn't sleep. You should see him with some of these slots that he's using, right? And you're talking about the Excite Center as well with amazing concerts, comedy, MMA, and boxing. So whether you're at the sportsbook at Parx Casino, whether you're at Parx Casino, or you're on the BetParx app, man, this is Pennsylvania's #1 casino. So check it out. ParxCasino.com to buy tickets for all the shows. Parx Casino, this is how you win. You must be 21. Gambling problem. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right. GLAT hair restoration. And look at the hair. And it's looking good, right? Well, maybe next week I'll be like, I probably need a freshie. Because when your hair looks good, you want your hair to look good, right? When you don't want your hair good, when your hair doesn't look good, you shave it or you just keep it short. You don't really care, right? That's GLAT hair restoration. You want to shave your head? Awesome. God bless you. But if you're like, man, my hairline keeps receding, I don't want to get to restoration level like Johnny Marks. Perfect. Because all stages of hair loss, GLAT hair restoration, that's all they do. 30 years of experience, the most experienced staff of anybody out there, anywhere in the country. And that's what you're going to get. All stages of hair loss. So maybe you're starting to recede. And you're like, I don't want to lose any more hair. Technology and science in 2025 can get you to where you want to be. And this isn't some fugazi algorithm ad in Instagram where you have the guy from using shampoo has a huge head of hair. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't. GLATHairMM.com. GLATHairMM.com is the website. My before and after pictures and much, much more. Or 610-980-4000. 610-980-4000. GLATHairMM.com. Hooah. What's up? Oh, what do you got here? Oh, nice. This is opening night 2025. Oh, because it was opening night. There you go. Nice big boxy shirt. This will fit my neighbor that's like 300 pounds. Thank you, Violation Greg. All right, there you go. All right, so Fran in a second. We're minus 50 on it, but it's time for our BetParx parlay of the day.
Do we
Fran,
have to?
Yeah,
Are we legally obligated to?
I picked a money line minus 455 winner last night, and they were behind by 20 in the third quarter.
John, I don't know what was worse. You picked a money line of minus 450 and they lost, or I picked a game where I was trying to get guys with total bases and there was 5 total hits in the game.
Me.
It's just like
Me.
our luck is
Because
so bad.
If he gets up and he hits a double, you win.
Right.
They were
It
down
was over.
20.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. All right. So we have to be really creative because again, what we're learning with trying to do a parlay is we can't do any props from the games because it's too early in the morning. But we've selected a couple dandies today. There, Tyler Zuli. I'm going to start with mine. Taijuan Walker's pitching. Tyler tells me the pitcher for the Rockies stinks. It may seem too easy, but sometimes simple is the best way to go. Keep it simple, stupid. I'm going to take the over plus, or it's the over under is 9.5. I'm going to take the over on total runs today. So over total runs, Phillies and Rockies, which pays minus 113 at this point. Over 9.5 total runs. What do you got, Tyler?
Yeah, you know you're desperate when you're going to the English Premier League for a Thursday afternoon game, but I'm going to go to the EPL and I'm going to take Chelsea over Tottenham in the in regulation. So soccer's weird, obviously. There is no overtime in the EPL in the regular in the regular season portion of it. Chelsea over Tottenham on the money line, if you will, at minus 152. Chelsea hasn't given up more than 1 goal in each of their last 6 games now, dating back to a loss to Aston Villa back in late February. I think Tottenham's going in the wrong direction. Chelsea hasn't been great, but they do still have an outside chance at the top 4 spot in the Premier League table, which would get them into some
All right, minus 152. We don't need any more
152.
analysis. Paralysis by analysis. It's going to pay plus 214. Chelsea in regular time. We're gonna bet 100 here because we need to get back on the positive side right there. Oh, and that line just moved too, so it's plus 216 on that parlay. Chelsea and the over Phillies and Rockies. Joining us right now, and that's our Bet Parks parlay of the day. Joining us right now, I'm sorry to be late here, but we're talking about my pelvic floor and the exercises. Is Fran Duffy. So like you may look at Fran and be like, all right, Eagles analyst, draft guru, but he's not just the draft guru for PHLY. All of our networks across the platform. Fran, I don't think he slept. He's not going to sleep until when's the draft? Fran, good morning. How are you, buddy?
3 weeks from today, unfortunately, John, as Zach Berman tweeted out this morning and tagged me for today's Eagles show. 3 weeks from today, so I appreciate ZB for the reminder and the angst that brings me. But I was jolted awake by the fact that I clicked on the link to join the show mid-video with you and VG. I'm like, what did I just click on?
Yes.
As you guys had no idea what I was jumping into.
Perfect lead for you is what I was thinking. Exactly what you're looking to get into. All right, so where do I start? First of all, the top 100. Tell us about it. The PHLY Eagles top 100. This is the list that all of you guys, Bo, Zach, you're obviously the draft expert for all of ALLCITY. So you're coming up with your draft board specifically for the Eagles. Is that correct? Tell us more about it.
Yeah, so basically the idea is, I've been watching these players for the last calendar year, right? So I've got reports up on over 200 players over on allphly.com. You become a diehard, you have access to all my notes, and it's not just like my scouting reports on players, but it's notes from the All-Star games and from the Combine, and it's so we cover like just about 300 guys. If you go in there, there's going to be info and data on all of those players, and basically the idea was, all right, well, if you've got Fran's notes for all the different markets, as you mentioned, but how do we cater it specifically for each market? Well, we're going to take the beats for each side. So Bo and Zach did a lot of the heavy lifting here, and they narrowed down my rankings and my reports on all these players. It's all right, well, let's take quarterback Shedeur Sanders. Let's toss him to the side. Tyler Warren, the tight end for Penn State, right. He's not going to be there when the Eagles pick. Let's toss him out. Here are the 100 players that you need to know for the NFL draft in 3 weeks if you're an Eagles fan. And so that's the idea behind the Eagles 100. You go in, you get access to all the reports, and you really kind of fine-tune what your focus should be for 3 weeks from now.
Yeah, and it's great stuff. I love the draft. I just Google mock drafts. I don't even care if it's like Walter Football for a while would always come up because they figured out how to get it at the top of every search, even though I don't know who Walter is. But anyway, yeah, like it's a great resource. And if you love the draft, allphly.com, all of our coverage is great. But between you and Zach and Jamie and Bo and Rich Hoffman and everybody else, man, it is great. So you have Abdul Carter number 1 on here. I guess that's just because he wants to play for the Eagles and there's a possibility how he could stun the world and trade up, right?
That's honestly, that was me and Bo talked about this on the show last week as we started like the weeding out process. And we said, I feel like we just have to leave him on there, like ceremoniously. Like, oh, he's going to the top 4, probably number 2. It seems like he's going to go number 2 to the Cleveland Browns. He's going to join Myles Garrett out there. But just because he's such a diehard Eagles fan, let's leave him in there at number 1. And so we decided to do that.
Malachi Starks, Walter Nolan, the defensive tackle from Ole Miss, Will Johnson, the tight end from Michigan, Colston Loveland, which we'll talk about in a second. So really, really good draft board. Eagles pick at the end of the first round, obviously end of the second round. So when you're, it's just not the first round you're picking 32. You're also picking the last pick in all the other rounds as well. This is really one of these situations where you have needs based on what you have. But is this the year, Fran, where you can really go best player available and you can't go wrong?
Yeah, I mean, that should be the approach, and it typically is the approach for Howie Roseman and the Eagles. And look, it might not be like strict best player available, but it might be like best player available that helps us now. When I did my first team agnostic big board a few weeks ago, I explained the differences between your vertical draft board, which that's like your typical, you think of your Mel Kiper top 25 big board, right? So that's a list from 1 till whatever. You have your vertical board, but teams operate more often from their horizontal board, which is going to be like I would say the best thing that you can equate it to would be like a fantasy football like draft board, right? Where you've got all your positions working horizontally and then all players broken up into tiers, and you say, all right, like who is you have the highest tier. Who are the players that are available, at each of those positions? And you're kind of picking that way just to kind of guard against picking a player that maybe won't see the field for you. And now it's like, okay, we're going to pick a guy that's on the same tier. That's how most teams are going to operate. I think that's how the Eagles are going to operate here this year as well.
Yeah, with just throwing a dart, to me, defensive line makes the most sense depending on who's there. Defensive tackle, defensive end, it's clearly a need. They have a couple of guys on a 1-year contract. You also have a couple of core guys, but the reason why the Eagles defense was able to be so good last year was they drafted really well along the defensive line, and those guys aren't making any money yet. Now Milton Williams is. Be nice to draft the next Milton Williams, even if it's a Milton Williams light in the first round.
Yeah, no question. I mean, anytime the Eagles get a chance to draft a lineman, whether it's the offensive line or the defensive line, they're going to take advantage of that. And so, I think Howie Roseman, I think the term he used out at the Combine in February was a healthy obsession. It might have been an unhealthy obsession with drafting linemen. And I think when you're looking at that strategy, it's paid dividends for this franchise in more ways than one. And, when you look at moving on from Jason Kelce and Fletcher Cox a year ago and to be able to just continue, moving on, not as if nothing happened. Obviously, you're missing those guys on and off the field, but you have other young guys that are ready to step up and kind of take their place. I would expect with Milton Williams moving on, one guy that is going to be ready for ascension is going to be Moro Ojomo, who was a late day 3 pick for them a couple of years ago. Now he's ready to kind of take that next step, but you're always looking to add to that. So they might draft over Ojomo. Maybe it is a Walter Nolan, the defensive tackle from Ole Miss. If he's there at 32, you draft him. Obviously, you would think that he's going to take on a good amount of snaps for that defensive line rotation. But whether it's someone off the edge, where you're replacing Josh Sweat snaps, or someone inside, I would be surprised if we didn't come out of day 2 without them adding at least one guy to add to that rotation.
Yeah, and you mentioned 3 weeks, so we'll get you on a couple times here, at least weekly, once weekly before that. But let me ask you about Dallas Goedert, because it's, I still think there's a chance that he comes back, but I would say it's more likely that he isn't back. Just if you look at Howie's comments and Nick Sirianni's comments about him, we'll see. I think the market's going to dictate whether he comes back or not. So with that being said, You broke down every game. You watched the film. When Goddard didn't play this year, because he only played in 10 games, what did the offense look like? So what I'm asking is, can they get by if they don't draft a high tight end that can play this year with the guys they've signed, with what they did last year, and the rest of the personnel on offense? Can they get by without having a bona fide Dallas Goedert as tight end?
Yeah, I mean, they could definitely get by. They got by last year. I think that's one of the things you're kind of leaning on, is the fact that, Goddard, he had 2 trips on the injured reserve list last year. He had an IR stint the year before. He's been constantly dinged up over the course of his career, and that's honestly the biggest knock you're going to have on Dallas, because when he is on the field, in my mind, he's a top 5 tight end in football. There just aren't a lot of players at that position that have the ability to impact the game as both a blocker and a pass catcher to the level that Dallas is able to. And so when you're looking at his impact on this offense, you look at all the numbers, like Saquon Barkley was more efficient, more explosive when Dallas Goedert was in the game. If you move on from him, you have to have an answer there as a blocker. Maybe you're leaning into more 6 offensive line sets. Obviously, you're bringing in somebody new there. I don't know that the guys that they brought in this year are necessarily going to be that level of blocker that Dallas has been, and so that is something that they will have to answer for. But at the end of the day, the money. I think that's the big reason why we're at this point is the money's just not making sense for the value that you're getting with Goddard.
Yeah, they're not paying him $15 million to play 10 games and whatever else. So would you agree that it's more likely than not that he's not back?
Yeah, I mean, definitely reading between the lines of the way that both Howie Roseman, Nick Sirianni, and Jeffrey Lurie all spoke about Dallas. A lot of it was past tense. Look, is there a chance that is what happened with Josh Sweat a year ago, where they're able to come to some kind of agreement? They lower the number and say, you're gonna be able to hit the market this year. But I think that at the end of the day, he has probably played his last game with the Philadelphia Eagles.
All right. So with that said, replacements in the draft. You're the draft expert there, Mr. Fran Duffy. There's a couple of names that we've heard that'll draft high. So where do you think the Michigan tight end goes, and who else would be available there at the end of the first round, or even Howie loves to move up within rounds? If you're moving up in the second round, they get a guy in the middle of the second round. Who are some tight ends that you like that the Eagles could potentially draft, and you would see an immediate return in year one?
Yeah, I think when you're looking at the top of the draft, certainly the 2 names you need to know are Tyler Warren from Penn State and Colston Loveland from Michigan. Now, I did an exercise for all PHLY and for all the markets here in ALLCITY last week, where basically I canvassed 36 mock drafts from some of the top analysts and insiders over the course of the offseason. So you had a 36 mock draft sample from notable voices in the space, and in 0 of those mock drafts were Tyler Warren or Colston Loveland available at 32. So it just kind of gives you a sample of, all right, it's unlikely that either of those guys make it. My gut tells me Tyler Warren's probably going in the top 10 and number 7 to the New York Jets. He's going to be out of range. My second guess would be with Colston Loveland. Most likely, he ends up in Indianapolis at 14. His floor probably around the 20 spot to the Denver Broncos, maybe not much further than that. So I do think it would require a substantial move up for the Eagles to get their hands on Colston Loveland, even with him coming off of shoulder surgery earlier this offseason. So I think both those guys probably out the window. Now it's going to be, all right, when you get into day 2, who are the options?
Yeah, so on your top 100 that you have here, you have Elijah Arroyo from Miami, and then you have Harold Fannin Jr. And this is a guy that, and I looked at it because their new quarterbacks coach actually left as the head coach of Bowling Green, that obviously has a lot of familiarity with him. He had 117 catches for 1,555 yards last year and 10 touchdowns. So before we talk about these 2 guys, I just want to remind everybody, get to allphly.com for everything, including Rich Hoffman Jr.'s his great daily All PHLY daily newsletter, which is amazing. But also, if you're watching on TV right now, go on over to allphly.com because it's time for overtime. There it is. All right, so Fannin, some of the other guys that would be there, are they second round picks? Are they third round picks? Are they in betweeners? Like, where do you think they go with tight end? Like, do you think tight end is a high priority for the Eagles in this draft, to where they're looking for somebody in the second round?
I think in an ideal world, you're coming away with a tight end in round 2 or round 3, right? And I think that you brought up 2 of the names, Elijah Arroyo from Miami, Harold Fannin Jr. from Bowling Green. You would probably throw Mason Taylor in there as well, the tight end from LSU. I think those are the 3 names when you get into the latter stages of round 2 where it would make sense. Really quickly, I'll just kind of buzz through. I think all 3 of them, probably more pass catcher than blocker. I would say if I were to kind of stack them as blockers, I would put Arroyo at the top, then I would put Fannin, and then I would put Mason Taylor. Mason Taylor, he's the son of a Hall of Famer. Jason Taylor, former pass rusher from the Miami Dolphins. His uncle on his mom's side is actually another Hall of Famer and former Miami Dolphins linebacker Zach Thomas. So you love the bloodlines there. 3-year starter for LSU. Smooth, natural pass catcher, really reliable. Just not the blocker that I would expect. Now, Look, I was down on Sam Laporta when he was coming out of Iowa because I thought you kind of have to scheme around him as a blocker. Well, the Detroit Lions, they scheme around him as a blocker. They do a great job of just kind of, not asking him to do too much in the run game, and then they focus on him in the pass game. And I think you can do that with Mason Taylor. But we talked about the impact Dallas Goedert has had on the run game. Taylor's not solving that in year one. You hope that he can develop there, but that's not something that he's going to bring to the table right away. When you look at Elijah Arroyo, to me, he's probably more pass catcher. I think he gives you a little bit more in the ground game. I do like him a little bit better than Taylor as a blocker. He's also just a better athlete, like in terms of being like that pure mismatch guy. That's why I have him as high as I do on my list, because when you're looking at Arroyo, he is a dynamic player with the ball in his hands, yards after catch. Well, like Dallas Goedert, he also can be used vertically down the seam as well. Now, the big thing with him has been injuries. This was the only year of real production for Arroyo. It was his 4th year down in Coral Gables at Miami. The other previous years, injury really kind of bit him in the butt. So I think when you're looking at Arroyo, it's about keeping him healthy. He missed part of the pre-draft process, didn't work out at the combine due to injury as well. So when you're looking at him, that's going to be the knock. And then when you get to Harold Fannin Jr., you mentioned the production, like historic production at the tight end position. We've really never seen a tight end produce the way that he did for Scott Loeffler at Bowling Green this past year. I just say he's a little bit limited athletically. I think when you're looking, he's probably a little bit more straight line. He doesn't really run that full route tree. And he's a little bit on the smaller side. So those would be the knocks on those 3 players, but all definitely can impact the pass game.
Man, I can't get enough of this. I'm in the database right now, and you can click and you get a side peek with all this information from every player that's there. This is unbelievable. This is great. You must, and you did this for all the cities, right? Because I saw the Dallas one was up too. So you did this for all the cities. Wow, a lot of work.
Yeah, it's been a fun year, but only 3 weeks left, so we'll see what it looks like down the stretch.
Well, listen, go get some coffee or something, and we'll see you on the Eagle show today. Correct?
Yes, sir. We got the draft show at 12, so we'll be live at 12. Myself and Bo Wolf talking through just some different profiles that we're into from an analytics standpoint, from a stat standpoint, and then at 2:00. Actually, topically enough, myself, Bo Wolf, Zach Berman, we're going through this entire tight end class. So we'll talk through the names that you and I just spoke about, and also get into the rest of the top 10, some sleepers in day 3. So we'll be talking a lot of tight ends and potential Dallas Goedert replacements later today on the show at 2:00.
Wow, and that's what I'm trying to do with the Kegel exercises. Tight end. There you go. Oh, no.
Yeah, the video looks a little bit. The video breakdown that I'm looking at is a little different than the ones you're looking at.
Thanks, Fran. You're the man. Thank you. Good to talk to you.
Appreciate it, John.
Yeah, I'll talk next week. There it is. Yeah, and you know who? He had mentioned Mason Taylor from LSU, son of Jason Taylor, nephew of Joy Taylor. There you go. Yeah, I am like a kid in a candy store with this. This is awesome. Each one of the names, like you go to say Tyler Booker, linebacker from Alabama, and it's like, oh, open inside peek, and it gives you 40-time bench press, a whole bunch of different stuff projected round where he's going. This is awesome. Guys do such a great job with it. Very exciting. All right, well, listen, we accomplished a lot today, Tyler. I'm on my journey, my pelvic floor journey. So hopefully that can help with, because right now I really, really have to go to the bathroom. So if we did like Anthony does the 2-hour show, I'd literally have to walk.
We'd have to have commercial breaks, like back in radio days. We'd have to have commercial breaks.
You know, Scott Hansen, like with NFL Red Zone, he like brags how he doesn't go to the bathroom for the entire show.
Yeah, that can't be healthy.
Well, like, how about this, Scott? It's okay. Go to the bathroom. They can stay in a game for a minute and a half. If something happens,
right?
Like, I'll be okay. Because otherher's, then does he have the gallon water jug and he just sits behind the thing and he's peeing in the water jug?
It's one of those things like they're weird brags. It's like when people are like, "Oh, I never take time off. I don't ever use my PTO." It's like, well, then you're stupid.
Yeah, take PTO.
You know what I mean? Like it's part of your compensation package. You should use it, right? Like even if you don't go anywhere, just veg out on your couch for a week.
Yeah, I hope you're a loner with no family and you have no friends that you're not taking, like, and you just want to put yourself in a straitjacket. Yeah, it is a weird brag. Like, Scott, go to the bathroom, bro. Trust me, I'd rather you go to the bathroom and be comfortable. Yeah, like you dehydrated or you taking salt pills or something that's you're wearing a Depends. I was in line at the grocery store the other day, and I think he was like a shopper, like a professional shopper. And I was like, oh, he's a professional shopper. But he had a lot of adult Depends. And I'm just telling you, the guy that's wearing the adult Depends, because he's not an old guy, he's probably like my age, he looks really happy wearing it. Much happier than I am right now having to go to the bathroom. So if these Kegel exercises don't work for my pelvic floor, I might have to start wearing the Depends diapers. Oh, there you go. All right. Shout out. Appreciate everybody. We'll be back tomorrow live at 8 a.m. Subscribe, like, follow me on social media at John, Jon Marks, Marks Media, at John Marks Media. We're back tomorrow live at 8 a.m. See ya.
We all silly like the mayor.